Title: My wife's new boyfriend moved into our $2.4 million home the day our divorce finalized. You'll die poor and alone, she texted. That night, my phone rang. Start the night she moved him in, I watched from my car across the street. Her laughter carried through the open window, a sound I used to chase. Now it made my blood settle cold. 2 hours earlier, I'd signed the last page of the divorce papers. Our $2.4 million home was hers. My lawyer called it a fair settlement. Fair? She called it freedom. Her final text arrived as the sun dipped behind the palm trees. You'll die poor and alone. I stared at the words until they blurred. Then my phone rang. Mr. Reeve? The voice on the other end was measured, official. This is the Pentagon. Your grandfather's classified mission has been declassified. I almost laughed. My grandfather had been dead 40 years, but the man continued. There's a sealed inheritance account tied to his service. It's been under national restriction until today. Estimated value, $156 million. My pulse froze. He gave me a time and location, Washington, D.C., Monday morning. Then he added, there's one condition, Mr. Reeve. The assets can only be transferred to a legal heir with no joint financial ties or debts connected to another party. No joint ties, no shared property, no ex-wife. The timing felt almost divine. We'd met in college, Anna and I. She was all fire and charm, the kind of woman who made every man feel like a secret she might tell. For 10 years, I mistook her chaos for passion. She mistook my patience for weakness. The affair started with someone from her office, a client. I caught the tone of her voice one night, the softness she used to save for me. Then came the receipts, the hidden hotel charges, the perfume that wasn't hers. When I confronted her, she didn't deny it. She smiled. You were too boring to keep, David. He's exciting. I remember standing there, my ring in my hand, feeling the air leave my lungs like a dying engine. That night, something broke, but it wasn't my heart. It was my hesitation. Divorce was her idea. She wanted the house, the car, half the savings. She got them. I let her, because I needed the timing perfect. I didn't tell her about the call. I didn't tell her that in a few days, I'd inherit a fortune that could rewrite my entire life, if she was no longer tied to it. The Pentagon arranged a private verification process, DNA testing, legal sign-offs, identity confirmations. Everything was confidential. The inheritance would remain sealed until the divorce cleared all property connections. And when that was done, when her signature dried, I'd be free. She wasted no time. 3 days after the court ruling, her new boyfriend, a fitness instructor named Miles, moved into my old house. My house. They painted the walls gray, replaced my piano, and posted photos of their new beginning. I didn't react. I just watched. When the inheritance funds cleared, I established 3 shell companies, all under different names. One for real estate, one for trading, one for silent investment. I began buying quietly. The mortgage on that same house through a corporate loop she'd never trace. By the time she realized the property taxes had shifted ownership, it would already belong to me again. But that wasn't the revenge. That was the setup. 2 weeks later, she called. David, she said, her voice sharp, did you do something to the house account? The mortgage company says ownership records changed. I kept my tone calm. Must be a clerical error. I'll look into it. She snapped, don't screw with me. Then she hung up. 3 days after that, a letter arrived at her new address. Official, government sealed. I'd made sure it looked perfect. Department of Treasury letterhead, stamped and signed. It read, notification. This property has been flagged under a federal inheritance claim investigation related to classified military assets. Occupancy review required. She called again that night, panicked. What the hell is this? I said nothing for a long time. Then I whispered, you told me I'd die poor and alone. Turns out, I'm neither. I hung up. Her boyfriend left within a week. Apparently, federal investigations aren't great for a new relationship. She called again, crying this time. David, please, I didn't mean. But I had already moved forward. Through my companies, I quietly bought out her debts, the credit cards, the car loan, the refinanced line she used for renovations. I became her anonymous creditor. Every payment she made from that point forward went to me. And when she inevitably defaulted, Because she always did. I reclaimed the house legally. She was served notice of foreclosure on a Monday morning. She tried calling, dozens of times. I didn't answer. 6 months later, I returned to the house. The walls were still gray, but her perfume was gone. The silence was clean. I stood in the doorway where she'd once thrown the divorce papers at me, and I smiled. My lawyer confirmed it. Everything was transferred, debt-free. I owned the house again. I owned the fortune. And I owned the silence that followed her downfall. The day I moved back in, a message arrived from the Pentagon. Funds fully released. Your grandfather's mission declassified under Operation Silent Veil. Condition met. I opened the folder. Inside was a photograph. My grandfather, standing beside a B-17 bomber. On the back, he'd written in faded ink, "To my heir. Some wars are fought without bullets." I placed it on the mantel. Then I poured a drink, looked out at the city lights, and whispered to the empty room. She said I'd die poor and alone. I took a slow sip. But I'm richer than her lies, and alone by choice.